Do we really need this?
Yeah.
It's professional.
All right, well, obviously, Coach, just a tough inning, a wild game between the two teams. Kind of your overall thoughts.
Overall thought, oh wow. Well, I mean, the game was probably, like I mentioned in the locker room, kind of a microcosm of our season. We punch, get punched back. We keep battling. That was a trademark of this team. I think that's the Iowa State way, as Coach Finley says. They just had the last at bat, and I thought that I never felt comfortable at 6-0. I felt good. I'm not gonna lie to you. I thought, okay, we're in good shape, but also realized that I know the kind of bats that they swing and the runs that they put up, and just like the game in the microcosm of it. Like I said, we do a lot of good things. We left some runners on base that we probably could have got even more distance between us. And we had a little instance of a play here and there that extended innings and gave them an opportunity for another swing of the bat. And and some other circumstances that just didn't work in our favor tonight. So I will say that like I told them in the locker room, I love them. I'm extremely proud of them. They're well-spoken women. The 9 seniors that are leaving, they're going to be successful in life. They won't remember the score of the game 10, 15 years from now, but they'll remember the memories in the room. And that's what college athletics and sports is all about. So I'm really proud of them. This senior class got us to our first regional final. Mo said in the locker room, that we've got to continue to build on that. We've got to go back to work after a couple of weeks, rest and recover, and come back ready to go. And we've let a couple of years slip by that we had opportunities, and we've had a week to 10 days each season that the season got sideways, and we can't allow that anymore.
Malaysia, obviously, you tied a Big 12 tournament record, 5 RBIs. Tell me about those 2 at-bats where you got those 5 runs. They're basically, clearing double. Just how'd you feel at the plate?
Well, I felt like I was seeing the ball well today. In my first at-bat, I got to 2 strikes pretty quickly, so then I was just trying to win each pitch, work the A-B a little bit, see some more pitches, and then I was able to get good barrel on the pitch. It was off the plate a little bit, so. And then my next at bat, I knew she was throwing rise ball, so I was just trying to get something I could get my barrel on top of, and I was able to get my barrel to that ball. So,
What's it been like, the 2 of you playing with each other? Describe that.
We're best friends. Like it's we're really lucky the Lord brought us to each other. We're both from California. We live 30 minutes away, but didn't know each other much before high school, and so. We're really lucky to be together and meet each other, and yeah, I'm gonna miss playing with her. So, yeah.
You're gonna miss both. I know you're getting teared up, so I'll give you time to recover. But you're also gonna miss playing for him, Coach Pink. What's he meant to both of you?
Yeah, like she said, like we're both from California, and he brought us out here all the way from California. So like I always like to say, like I'm so thankful that he brought me out here to play and meet my best friends. So I'm so thankful for him, and like playing with him has been such a joy. Like it's been so fun, like day in and day out. Like whether we're getting to work or whatever it is, like we're always able to keep it fun. And he's a good coach. He lets us like a lot of people always say, like not all coaches let you major in whatever you want. Like I'm a math major, and like I had classes during practice where like I wouldn't have been able to do that somewhere else. So I'm very thankful for that, and like thankful that like God put him in my life to bring me here and like meet some of my best friends.
Like her.
Now both of you don't make me cry.
Coach, what is Malaysia? What have they meant to your program?
The world to me, and not even talking about the program. Just Malaysia, they are the epitome of student athletes. They're the epitome of softball players, and they are true student athletes. And both of them, they're not afraid, and that's the culture we've created. They're not afraid to speak freely and come in and express. Both of them make me better and bring new ideas. And sometimes I do it, sometimes I don't. But when I do, I try to have an explanation to them for why we can't do anything. They're bright young minds. They have a high IQ, and a coach would be foolish if they didn't listen to players, and especially to women like this. They're like I said, she's a math major. She's going to be successful. Mo's got an internship with the New York Yankees this summer. So, I mean, extremely bright women. And to be able to sit down and talk to them and talk softball. I mean, I'm going to miss the conversations with Malaysia. She sits to the front of the bus, and we talked anything from weather to softball to stock market. It's just great conversation with both of them. And, got one more year with this one, but Malaysia's going to be just fine wherever she goes. I think she's going to be a damn good coach someday if that's the route she decides to go.
Then my last question. Got me. My last question here, obviously the Big 12 this year, strong as ever before. We talked about that before the season.
Yeah.
Having gone through this gauntlet, and you had some injuries that had to deal with it, just describe this year playing in this conference and how strong it is.
I think it's going to speak for itself when it gets there. At the end of the year, when the RPI and the final RPI come out, you and I have talked on several occasions, and always forever grateful to be on your podcast. And you do want to thank you for what you do for the sport. But I think when we come out, I think we can have anywhere from 5 to 7, depending on how Tech and Kansas does. Obviously now that we're out, I'm pulling for all of them. I want the conference to do well, and I think this might be a year that we've put more than our 4 or 5 in, and I really think it's strong top to bottom. And even though we limped through the season at times, I felt at any point in time that we could go out and beat anyone, and it just didn't bounce our way tonight, and that's what's sad. For we don't get to come back tomorrow, and we'll be together, but it would have been one more time. I'd like to see Malaysia step, and the other 8 seniors step between the white lines again.
Coach, looking ahead to next season, OU and Texas leaving the conference, the Pac-12 teams coming in, do you feel like that realignment is going to affect your program and also the conference?
In what way? Like softball or
softball specifically, yeah.
I think, obviously when you lose programs like OU and Texas from an RPI standpoint, I think this year we played 3 games against OU, lost all 3, played 1 close, 1 we were in the game, and then do what OU does, and you go up 10, 12 spots in the RPI. Will we have that quality in the conference? I think so in time, but I mean, you don't ever want to lose programs like that, but that decision's been made, and with the teams coming in, strong softball. Utah was in the World Series last year. Arizona is perennial threat to go to the World Series. Arizona State's a storied program. We're losing 2 storied programs, but we're gaining 2, and Utah was in the World Series. So I think up and down, I think the conference might be a little bit tighter. And I thought it was tight this year if you look at the standings, but I think there's a possibility to be, a little bit more balance to the conference, not necessarily do I think the conference is going to take a step back. I think I've spoken with Eric on several occasions, and I think that the conference is going to be probably still the second best conference. I firmly believe that with those teams coming in. I firmly believe that it'll be the SEC and the Big 12 going back and forth each year.
You talk about those 2 high RPI, high strength of schedule teams leaving and the effects that might have. Is it going to be more important for Big 12 teams to kind of maybe boost their resume in non-conference by playing some tougher teams in light of that?
I think it's always important on scheduling. I think I've boosted, I'm chuckling because I think last year we played the 19th toughest schedule in the country, and it didn't work well for us. We were 25-30. And this year coming into the day, and Eric, because you always put the brackets together, I think we were 22nd or 23rd, and I think we had the third or fourth toughest strength of schedule in the conference this year. We were bouncing between, it was Oklahoma, Texas, us, and Baylor, and I think right now we're probably fourth. If I'm wrong, you can correct me, but I think the scheduling's there. We just didn't stay healthy in the circle. I mean, when you lose your ace in week 2, and I'm not sitting up here making excuses, it's a fact of life, but you know, that put us behind the 8 ball. And you know, that put a lot of pressure on the offense, and these women did a great job, and I think we did a great job hitting over 50 homers and stuff like that. But you know, when you lose a person like, say, a Swain, that there's some games in there that and once again, someone might think this is an excuse. I'm trying to spit facts. I think that we could easily flipped our record. I know a five or six game. I don't think this happens tonight if we have, say, a Swain. I mean, we could have, but I don't think so. And I'll go to bed tonight believing that. So I really love this ball club. We were just dealt a bad hand this year.
What do you think of the flavor that, say, like Houston and UCF, the teams that joined the conference this year, have brought to the conference? When you thought about just what they meant as additions to the conference? Oh,
I think it was great. I think the going to 27 game schedule and having tough conference opponents week in and week out. I mean, we had a battle with UCF last week. You know, we won a series against number 5 Oklahoma State, and you know, played OU and Texas tough in game 1, and then, you know, they kind of pulled away in game 2 and game 3. But I think only really one. I think they would tell you. I think there's only really one series that I feel like we didn't play well at all, and that was the Kansas series. And just to be able to go through and play that schedule, I think that's going to only make us better down the road. And the grind of the conference. I mean, just having the teams that we had when we really only had 6 weekends and you play 18 games, I think the grind gets a little bit longer. You have to be more focused and pay more attention to details. And there's some things that I meet with her 8 a.m. Friday morning on some things that we need to talk about as a team. There's some things I'm going to bounce off of her, and we got to find a captain to replace Malaysia, but there's definitely some things that we've got to change and make adjustments to if we're going to kind of remain. We want to get into the middle of the pack and into the fray, and there's some adjustments that we're going to have to make.